Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Akta Sehgal Malhotra, founder and chief strategy officer, Motherhood Club. It is indeed my privilege to host the very first English poetry open mic at Motherhood Club. So far, you have been hearing Hindi poems, which was hosted by Ila Devedi, our chief happiness officer. But we felt, why just Hindi? English is also a language which can be used to express our emotions. And English is a language which is understood by a lot of people in India and overseas. Today with us are three beautiful, esteemed poetess: Vanessa Jacqueline Dcruz from Singapore, Mrs. Usha Vardhan Sharma from Alvar, and Mrs. Nidhi Bansal from Noida. So, welcome to the three of you. It's lovely to host you three wonderful women at Motherhood Club first English poetry open mic. How are you all doing?
Absolutely fine. It's super with a capital S.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
doing
So,
great, doing
I'm
great.
going to great, awesome. So, I'm going to start this with one of my poetry before I introduce these amazing women. And I'll tell you the reason why I will first read that poem out. Did you earn something today? Did you give
Yes.
something today? Was it money or values that you earned? Was it sympathy or empathy that you returned? Did you give a lending ear for someone to be sure? Did you give something that made you pure? Or you became judgmental as someone shared? It's you and your empathy that brings cheer. Sympathy, for sure, will make you weak. Empathy makes you strong. Choice is yours. Empathy or sympathy, compassion or judgmental. And the reason that I read this today is because these three wonderful women who are present here, each of them have chosen empathy in some form or the other. Vanessa, as we all know, has been working extensively for the LGBTQ community and working for women empowerment to provide women and the LGBTQ community a status of dignity. Mrs. Usha Vardhan Sharma, an English teacher by profession, has been writing articles for a couple of newspapers, and once a teacher, always a teacher. And now that she has retired, she is teaching children who come from humble background, sitting in Alwar teaching kids from Delhi NCR. Nidhi Bansal, again, a lady who believes in giving, someone who has again chosen to help many and more, be it the disabled, be it the people who are fond of art, or anyone for that matter who needs help. And these three wonderful women, when they come together, they definitely epitomize empathy. So this is what is there for all of you today. So I'm going to request Vanessa to begin with her very first poem for the evening.
Thank you so much, Akta. And the title of my new poem is called New Love. A new love comes unexpected. You stare blankly at the ceiling. You lie on your bed counting sheep. Thunder and lightning of love strikes. You don't know how to open your heart. You are afraid to let it in. You are afraid to start over. You don't know what to say. You busy yourself just to distance yourself. For your heart speaks to you. It won't allow you to let go of the feeling.
Some technical glitch, I think.
Yeah, Vanessa, are you there?
Even the screen is like frozen.
Yeah, I think there is a network issue with Vanessa. All right, so let Vanessa join us back again. I think her network has frozen. In the meantime, let's move on to Usha ji. Usha ji, let's hear your very first for today, and we'll come back to Vanessa after she rejoins us.
Okay, like I'm going to start with a idol of purity. Okay, we all have idols in our life, but I'm going to talk about idol of purity. Some people, I mean, at least both of you must have guessed what this idol of purity is. Okay, I'll just start with it. When love, care, and sacrifice combine together in perfect proportion, an incarnation of purity springs up, known as Mother, from whose breast we suck the milk of our security, into whose womb we attain our maturity. We stand tall on the pyramid of her sacrifices, a person who understands our silence more than words and allows us to move around like free birds, but watches us like a hawk. Wherever we go, she mentally stalks. A lady who can scan a mind with her eyes and knows where the problem lies. Her touch, her magical hug, her blessings are so powerful and so distressing, irrespective of the fact whether we are right or wrong. She's always there with a big gong. No standards unit to measure how deep is her love, how vast is her mercy, gives you elixir of life whenever you are thirsty. Her love gurgles in our life, transcending all boundaries of earthly and unearthly perspectives, guarding our well being. In her prayers is quite reflective. It is believed that umbilical cord is cut at the time of birth, but that is only a physical one. Real one is never cut because mother hides it from all and carries it even after her death with such great art to be connected with her children even when she is world apart.
So beautiful, so beautiful.
Thank you.
How beautifully you have described, the idol that each one has in their life. That's the mother. Beautiful. And I'm sure, your daughters will be very proud to hear this, and you would be very proud of them to be good mothers too. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So Vanessa, we have you back. Yes, Nidhi, you want to say something?
I'm
Yes,
so
yes,
sorry.
because
My phone overheated, so it was disconnected.
No problem, Vanessa.
So I will recite my poem
Yes.
again. So it's
Yes,
called
please. Yes.
it's called New Love. A new love comes unexpected. You stare blankly at the ceiling. You lie on your bed, counting sheep. Thunder and lightning of love strikes. You don't know how to open your heart. You're afraid to let it in. You're afraid to start over. You don't know what to say. You busy yourself just to distance yourself. But your heart speaks to you. It won't allow you to let go of the feeling. You sit on the grass, looking at the blood moon. You ask it, can I love again? Can I start over? It is so much. You don't know what. Sorry, you don't want to be hurt. You don't want to hear promises and feel betrayed. If promises are not enough, if touches are not enough, then what is enough for you? Taking that leap of faith of love won't be enough. Love is a risk. Only a brave heart can take. Promises can be broken, but we are never promised to have the bliss of life. Life is never a bed of roses, and so is love. Only experience is your guiding hand. Run your game, run the risk. Take the love and run with it. For you will never know. Starting over may be the best thing in your life. Hold on to the guiding hand or experience, to a new love, new life, and to a never promised beast life. To see the sun rise again, to see the phoenix rise again. Thank you.
Beautiful.
So
New
powerful,
love.
so
Very,
powerful.
very
Yes,
Thank you.
Beautifully worded poem.
that's
Beautifully
what
worded. Only brave
we
hearts can love. Very
so
true.
virtual hug to you, Vanessa.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes.
Really
Beautifully
beautiful
said.
poem.
How powerful, beautifully we expressed all the love that we need and we can spread it also. I mean, this is just very truly relatable. Truly relatable.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nidhi, let's hear you before I read the comments from our audience.
Yes, yes, of course. This is an ode to womanhood which we need to celebrate each moment of our life, right? Being a woman, I dedicate this all to all of you, all those who are present here on the screen and those who are listening to me. I nurture the sentiments of mother, a heart of a mother, innocent, so gentle, the depth of courage, of patience. Still daughters, I resemble, love my fiancé. I brave the wind, I whistle, I sing. I laugh, I smile. She's a hurricane passing by, singing a silent lullaby. Often with tears, a little cry. I hold the calmness of a cage. No fear, no rage, or churn into one. I am a woman, and I'm privileged to be one. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
What a
Really
Thank
nice.
you.
demonstration of women talking about new love, a mother, and just
Yes,
talking about being a woman, and that too, feeling privileged about it. Didn't I say
absolutely.
that these women epitomize empathy? Wonderful. So
Thank
let's
you.
quickly ask each one of you the same question. When did your journey of writing poems started? Let's start with Usha ji, being the eldest amongst us.
Ah,
Yes.
it started when I was in the third year of my graduation.
Because I beg to differ on this. Since Usha is the youngest one of us all. That is
Oh
not
no,
better, right?
Yes, absolutely. Youngest, yes.
that's it. You remind me of a doctor, when I wasn't well. So, he what he said, he was a military doctor, and he said, "How young you are," because I was
Exactly.
feeling so scared. He says, instead of asking my patient, "How old are they?" I always
Exactly.
ask them, "How young you are." So, whenever somebody asks me, I always remember that doctor.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Each birthday we grow younger, each birthday we grow younger actually. Each
We are
year
more
grow old.
experienced, we are more experienced. Okay.
Absolutely.
So in school, I started, when do we write? When we cannot express ourselves at personal level. There's something which are buried in our bosom, and we want to say it out. And pen, and I mean, paper has got more patience than people, and they were ready to take as much as I could write, and I used to write, and they never used to get tired. "Nee, it's enough, you've spoken a lot." My diary
Mm.
was so patient with me that I used to write volumes, and it used to get heavier and heavier, but never complained. So I said, I really started liking that habit of writing. And even today, when there are so many ups and downs in my life, I don't write now. I bleed on paper,
Wow,
because those
great.
powerful emotions, coming out from powerful heart, I cannot stop them. And if I tell people, they listen to me once, they listen to me twice, third time they'll get tired. Okay, but my thanks to my paper, I have personified that paper as my best friend, who never gets tired of listening to me. Because they say poets are sensitive people, not sensitive, oversensitive people, confessed. But then that oversensitivity only comes out in the form of poems. So I started writing that this way.
Wonderful, wonderful,
Great.
awesome. Nidhi, when did you start writing?
Okay, this journey started, you can say, 8 years back. I was writing something for my daughter. So she said, "Mom, if you write something which is worth reading, I would feel very proud of you." That was the first time someone actually told me that, I mean, my daughter, especially my children, when they say something like that, yes, of course, why not? Even children need to be proud of their parents at some point of time. And so that was the turning point in my life. I started writing. I started writing narration. I mean, it was like, first, in the initial stages, I used to join word to word. Writing was poetry for me. And then slowly started graduating, and few people started saying, "Oh, it sounds good." So obviously you start updating yourself, and you started reading a lot. And then, instead of joining words, I started joining thoughts. I started joining emotions, and that's how the connectivity felt. And I'm here in front of all of you. This is the journey,
Wonderful,
and I'm still ongoing on it.
amazing,
And you got a
amazing.
long way to go, you know.
Of course, of course. I'm in kindergarten right now, actually, when it comes to poetry. Please travel along with me.
If you are in kindergarten, I'm perhaps in play school.
You definitely do my
Wonderful. So, Vanessa, when did you start writing?
Actually, poetry writing was something that I was very afraid of writing, and I did not want to write it at all. But my ex-boyfriend was a poetry writer, and he used to write very beautiful poems. And one day he just asked me to write, and I just told him that I couldn't write, but he just said that I could write. Just write it from your heart, whatever feeling you had. So I tried it, and
And then you
somehow
didn't stop.
I got stuck with it. I mean, I let other people read my poems and they liked it, and it gave me that confidence to actually write poems. So I just kept writing poems from my heart. So whenever I write a poem, it is something that I feel from my heart.
great,
That
great.
is when I will write a poem. If I don't feel anything from my heart, I will not be able to write. I must start feeling first. So that's
Absolutely.
how I began my
Very true.
journey of writing
Wonderful.
poetry.
Great.
Absolutely. So one says she writes from her heart, the other says she pours her emotions on the paper and paper is her best friend. And the other one says that her daughter asked her to write something and she never looked back. So each of us has many journeys in our big journey. And when you read someone's poetry or a writing an article, I think you get to know a lot about that individual, especially the
Right.
ones who don't do that professionally. Because the ones who
Right.
do that professionally perhaps could still create a content, but the ones who write, not so
Themselves.
professionally, are the ones who actually put their emotions on the paper. And indeed, your paper and the pen becomes your best friend. So
That's
let's
right.
hear another round of amazing poetry. This time we'll start with Nidhi. We'll go the reverse order.
All right. Yes. There's something special about this piece of writing.
Right?
Uh,
Yeah.
it was actually just dream. So that someone, he told me that maybe let's meet. Not when we are young, at the twilight of our life. So I'm going to leave a small tree, and you should hear it with your eyes closed. I mean, I guess you will be transported definitely, because not many people have told me that. And so here I am with a dream, and if you listen to it with closed eyes, you will actually feel good about it. So here it comes.
Here we close our
Off,
eyes.
yes,
Uh, I'll keep my
off.
one eye closed and one eye open to see your beautiful face also and to listen to your beautiful voice also.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Often, I've imagined a life with you, not in those early playful years, a life in after youth, a life where we would be bound by togetherness, Lazy mornings, flutter of newspaper, brewing a hot cup of coffee, gardening with shaky hands, wobbly feet, a victorious smile, a winning seat, and eating the supplement, no longer in a hurry, resting resting on your shoulders in deep slumber. A forgotten lullaby, suddenly coming alive, wrapping your arms around me, my soul comforted, enjoying picnicking in the warm winter sun, stargazing to eternity, listening to my endless absent-minded chatter, my poetic adventures, faking a laugh at the pitiful joke, sometimes humming, singing, breaking into foxtrot, matching step for step. It is often fun to falter. I promise, a solemn promise, to throw my weight around, to hurl tantrums at you, show my attitude, play truant, be lazy, be demanding, wishful, a pest, a menace. I also promise you, a solemn promise, never boring, never too boring, illuminate each corner with a smile, brighter than before. Hold your hand till the end of time, clasp our souls, and lead you to profound, bask in your sunshine, evolve in our friendship, share even the last drop of wine, stand by you, and love you to the end. Wake up.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think,
you.
I'm glad I didn't close my eyes because I wanted to see those expressions. You know,
Yeah,
the
we would have missed your expressions.
Yeah, the expressions were adding so much weight to the poetry that you just recited. Beautiful. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you
And
so
for everyone, Nidhi not only writes in English but also writes in Hindi, and recently has had two of her books published, her own anthology of Hindi and English poetry. So many
Okay.
congratulations, Nidhi. And
much.
now I'm going
Congratulations.
to invite Usha ji, who very soon is also going to be an author, coming up with her poems, her own anthology very soon. So Usha ji, let's hear you.
Okay. Now we got a small garden in front of our house, and every day, many visitors they visit daily my garden, and they fill me with so much of positivity that they compel me to write a poem on them. So my
Wow.
evening visitors.
Wow.
Every day in the evening, when I sit with my cup of tea, comes my evening visitors to accompany me and light up my face with impish glee. Squirrels have fun and frolic in the lawn. Birds would assemble to shriek with a little yawn. Pigeons would arrive to spread purity, not at all conscious of their superiority. Butterflies add color and animation to my garden. Looks like infants moving around in kindergarten. Peacocks also make its appearance from time to time. Dances to display its feathers so fine. Weekly arrival of monkeys band attack our garden at their leader's command. Display aerobics on wires and poles. Their movement is so precise with admirable control. When monkeys of all size arrive, my other evening visitors go in height. The parrots and seven sisters come for food and water. Some come with their partners and some come with their daughters. Each one of them has its own fragrance and presence. I sit by my window and admire them all, envy their freedom as well as their stardom. Descending sun and ascending moon charges my garden and teaches me to adjust. As my last sip reaches my lips, I realize how the day slips. Animals and birds never change in any range. Humans are the actual chameleons, and this crude and rude fact is so strange. As I try to leave my couch near the window, two cats come to display their skills in judo. This small world of birds and animals fills my heart with optimism. Their daily visits make me feel awesome. Dear visitors, keep visiting again and again. You are my power bank from where I gain. Thank you.
I could imagine the garden
Absolutely.
with the squirrels and the
Please.
pigeons.
Usha
And
ji,
what a powerful line.
you won't believe
Yes.
I have this the kitchen window which I'm in the and
Um,
when I'm in the kitchen making like in my daily chores, and I see the humming of the birds, and sometimes I leave the cooking, I take up a phone and just record them chopping, they're sipping water, and everything. I can totally relate to it and visualize the whole thing. It's so beautiful.
Absolutely. And that line, I think, thank you, Pooja, for highlighting that humans are actual chameleons. Absolutely right. We are the ones who keep changing our colors, and we are pink, and tomorrow we are red, and then we are black and white, and nobody knows what we really are.
ah,
And
Really.
more so in times of social media, I think everybody has actually become a chameleon. So very nice, very beautifully worded, and very nicely. I could imagine the whole scene over there. Wonderful.
yeah.
Vanessa, let's hear you. 1 second. Yes.
I do apologize because my phone is overheating a bit. I'm not sure why it's having this
No
problem
problem.
today.
We understand. No
So my
issues.
next poem is titled Ocean of Love, Hurts and Choices. Pain flows like an ocean. It comes in waves. It hits you hard. You absorb the hits. You're alive, but damaged inside. You feel helpless. You want to cry, but who to cry to? You cry inside every day, but you smile every day. You smile at the ocean of hurts, which are the people you have love and respect. For you only know love, the love that may destroy you one day, but you will still love. For you want to die loving, but for what it is worth, would that be a foolish end to your life? You have loved, you have cared, you have carried the hurts. You are trying to stay afloat despite being drowned. For is it worth it? It is time to throw the hurts back. It is an ocean of hurts, for it can be thrown back to the sea where it came from. But only you can do that. An ocean of love, an ocean of hurts, but it can be an ocean of peacefulness as you have an ocean of choices. Basically, I wrote this poem for the transgender community who feel very suicidal. So I was trying to give them hope that even though how much they want to feel like jumping down, trying to how much they want to kill themselves, there is still hope in life and to keep on living. So
Ocean
that
of
is
love.
what my so that is because so I'm telling them that they actually have an ocean of love, but they also will face a lot of hurts, but they have their own choice to make whether they want to throw away all the hurts into the ocean. So that is basically what my poem is all about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very strongly worded.
strongly worded, and so love is the only thing which is alive, and we should keep it alive. And love is never ending. Moving not from one place. Obviously, there are so many other places you can find yourself into, and you can be in love with. Firstly, you have to be in love with yourself. That is much more important than finding love anywhere
Very
else.
true.
That is
Very
more
true.
important.
That is more important.
True, very true. The ocean of choice is something that if each one of us learns to exercise, perhaps we will expand the ocean of love around us. We have to be ourselves. We have to execute our choice and not get succumbed to the pressure that people put on us, whether it is the gender, it is the societal pressure, or whatever kind of pressure that we are exposed to. It's very important to have that ocean of choice. Wonderful, very strongly worded, Vanessa. And again,
Thank you.
these women are bringing out such beautiful emotions from their garden. And I think there is no two doubts that these poems that these three have written and recited here are straight from their heart. And I'm also tempted to read one more if I have the permission to do so.
Pleasure is all
No, no, I have to seek the permission from my guests. So I would say that appreciation is an art all have mastered, be it true or just for the sake of pleasing. Wonder how will such people face the master? All we see is pretense, and many talk about independence. Independence is not about freedom from someone. Independence is about choice. Independence is about thoughts. Independence is about breaking the ceiling. Independence is about acceptance. Independence is about me. Me who alone is responsible for me. I am a victim till I wish to be. Break the shackles, break the myth, break the stereotyping, break the social conditioning, break the barriers of your mind, break the belief that there is no proof, break all that it takes to find you, for only then you shall be the independent you. And the reason that I read this is because the three of you have actually, in your own ways, broken the stereotype and have questioned something which is not right. And I say this because of the personal interactions that I've had with the three of you, some which is available in the public domain and some which is on a one-on-one basis. So excellent poetry that we are getting to hear here. And before we go any further, let me read out a few lines for comments. Great lines, Usha ji. Wow, what a beautiful garden, and the visitors too. um, Vanessa, for you, one second, I'm just going up. Very good from Pooja and Mr. Bhatnagar. And one more, those beautiful comment that had come. Oh, so there's a question actually, Usha ji, for you.
Yes.
Mukesh is asking, you say love and care in perfect proportion, but isn't love is care and care is love in full measure?
Uh, no, they are defined in love means you just love and you don't expect anything in return. Care means that you are taking a care of that person's emotions and not your emotions. So love and care are totally two different things. But when it comes to mother, she can jump into one category to other. She can love also, she can take care of you also. So for her, everything is possible. But
what
they
I know
are
about it.
defined. Ah, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Himani is saying, "Wow, what a beautiful garden!" And the visitors too. Humans are actual chameleons. How true is that? Beautiful garden, beautiful choice. You have to make your own choices. So many hearts and love coming your way for you three wonderful, amazing women. So my question, again, a common question to the three of you. We've been hearing your thoughts. We've heard two poems each. We've spoken about love. We've spoken about choice. We've spoken about a mother, about being a woman. What do you generally write about? Vanessa. Any particular
Usually,
topic
I
that's very
write
close
about.
to your heart?
I usually write about sufferings, hurts that the transgender the transgender community faces. So, and also empowerment. As you can see, for my first poem, New Love, I'm trying to empower people to take a new journey in their life. Some people are actually afraid to start over in their life if they are looking for a new job or a new love. They are so afraid of taking the leap of faith, I call it, to create a new adventure for themselves. So my poem is to empower them. So yeah, so some of my poems is about empowerment. Some are about love, a mother's love, a woman's love. And also I've written poems about depression, about my own depression, about the depression that the LGBT community faces, and also how they can overcome it. And some of my poems are just pretty short ones based on love. So actually, right now I'm venturing to a new form of poem writing called short poem writing, because I do not want to write long poems. I want to try to make my poems short and sweet to the point. Because sometimes, people do not like to read long poems. If they see a long poem, they say, oh no, it's a long poem again. If they see a short poem, wow, okay, maybe I'll read. So
Very true.
that's how I want to get my audience to read my poems. So yeah,
Wonderful.
basically, I write my poems around this genre.
Wonderful. So, motivation, empowerment,
Uh,
conveying her emotions, her own experiences, life experiences, for people to actually get inspired and to learn. I think that's one of the best ways to communicate what you wish to, because by sharing your own experience in the form of a poetry, it definitely touches chord with many people. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for sharing that insight with us. Nidhi.
Um, okay. I write mostly on hope. Be it for a little girl, a mother, uh, anything that comes. We all need hope at some point or the other. And it's all about not being alone, being alive, and you just living your moment. You live for the moment right now. I mean, that is what I basically focus on. And definitely, I mean, like now I'm talking to you. And I see that beautiful Billy on Usha has for us, which is actually my photo. I love putting Billy. So that is going to attract me, and I might try something on them. I mean, the hair is. The other day I was applying on my hair, and she was so fussy about it. Don't put it this way. The oil should be in this proper way. Put your hand straight, glide it this way. So many things. And at the end, she just snapped and she walked back. You don't know how to apply oil. And that on that I used the phone. And I told her, see, you are the hero of my phone now. You made me, express passion. I mean, this is how poetry comes. I think that because, basically, the moment that you experience the experience that you have each day, and on hope, basically, on hope. I love writing, encouraging people to live for themselves. That is what I want.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm not surprised to hear this because for everyone, Nidhi's actual name is Urja Nidhi.
Yes,
So when there is Urja means energy, and when there is positive energy, one always views energy as positive. Hope has to be there. So one is talking about motivation and empowerment. The other is talking about hope. What
so,
does Usha ji like to write about mostly?
Uh, like for poetry, anything that touches the chord of your heart, like I'm talking to you, and anything can touch my heart. And you never know you're instrumental in giving me the best poetry. And I write in words. Like I cannot express much in words, but I can express beautifully on a piece of paper. And everything, there must be a hitch, in expression when I'm talking, whether the person would like it or not. on paper, that thing is not there. That restriction is not there, whether they will like it or not, because it will remain over there. It will not be opinionated by anyone. And for this one, you have to have all your antennas open. Like those intelligent people, they have all their antennas open for those intellectual things. And my antennas are open for emotional sensitivity and something sweet which I can carry it home. Because from every conversation, there's something that my heart absorbs and puts it on the paper. So the subject, there are varieties of subject. The first poem that I wrote when I was in what do you call third year, second year, when my mother shared about the girl. I said, how did my nanny feel? How did you feel when I was born? So when she shared, that thing is so green in my mind that I wrote first poem as tragedy being a girl. And later, when I was mother of three girls, I could imagine what my mother would have felt and what my daughters, when they would produce girls, they would feel. So it's not that I'm this, what do you call, feeling bad or something. No, it's the most beautiful thing that has happened to me to giving birth to three daughters. And but the thing is, we cannot ignore what society feels. Their comments, their expressions, I could feel it before generation and after generation. And this is the truth. This is the reality. But in this reality, we still move ahead with a strong mind and a powerful heart, writing poetries, writing what our heart feels.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Wonderful. But this, so there is a common thing between the three of you in addition to empathy. All three of you write real stuff. What actually has happened, or what is there in the moment, that is the one thing that inspires you. And I think that totally resonates with me, because most of the time that I write something is also about something that I have personally experienced. Or as Usha ji said, that you're talking to someone and a thought triggers in your mind, and it stays till you actually pen down something, either a poem or an article around that. It doesn't go out of your system. So wonderful, ladies, and I think it's time to hear our third poem from each of you. So this time, let's start from Nidhi. No, we started from Nidhi earlier, right? This time we'll start from Usha ji.
Okay. Like you were asking me, how do you get topics or this thing for it? Recently, I lost my brother and father within 2 months. So a girl who had not spoken to me for 10, 12 years, she called me. And when she called me and she expressed her condolence, she gave me a thing to write for my next poetry, that is supreme power of grief. Like what could not melt her for 12 years, but that the grief melted her and she called me. And she came after that. When she could feel that I was in need of a good friend, she came to visit me also. And after that, I wrote this poem, Supreme Power of Grief. Joy breeds isolation, whereas grief breeds compassion. Grief connects us with people. Joy sets us in luxurious cubicles. Grief brings us close to God, whereas joy proclaims itself to be Lord of Lords. We are closest to Almighty and strongest in our prayers when our heart is full of fear and our eyes welled up with tears. Grief makes us human, whereas joy and contentment makes one insensitive and inhuman. In grief, we dissolve and resolve our problems and grudges, become benevolent and generous, and never try to judge. Grief is a process of catharsis to provide humanitarian services. Joy is like a mirage that appears to be very large, is actually an illusion to create confusion, to fill you with pride so that you can take long, long strides. Life is full of failures and challenges, depends on how you manage it. It is like making flowers within our reach with thorns and difficulties, and of course, lessons to teach. It's acceptance of joys and sorrows for who has seen tomorrow. Death is definitely not a solution, but has the power to bring revolution. There is terror only in the fear of death. Actually, in death, there is peace. Because all our pain and worries cease. To breathe last on our ultimate birth and leave the world of inhuman death.
Wow. That's the reality, actually.
Sometimes it's not love but pain that brings us and brings us together. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I think people who connect at the level of pain, the bonding that they have is a lot more
bonding them.
deeper and stronger than it is
yes,
if it is at the level of perhaps just friendship or love.
yes.
Pain really binds you together. No, beautifully, very true. I mean, it's a very realistic poem that you've written, and conveys that, how important it is to experience pain, and I would even say how important it is to experience grief also.
Mm.
Perspective of life changes drastically. Pooja says emotions apart, the way you recite your poem is amazing depth of experience. Thank you so much. Nidhi, let's hear you.
Uh, I like to start thinking before I start with writing my book. I like writing stories in my poetry, not stories. You know, you
Okay.
from start to end, there is a story in that poetry. And I hope you find solace in it. She quit the pallu of a sari. She quit the pallu of a sari restless, rejected. It was her first day. Her friends teased her. They said, she looks perfect. A 3.5 minute wait. It feels like eternity. She clutched on to her nervousness, freaking out at each passing second. A slight tap on her shoulder. She shuddered. Her fingers, she smiled, half responsive. Adjusting her already in place pallu, her bangles refused to change length. Fingers battered. Puffy and nodded in silent affirmation. Inside she playing fluent, glamour excitement, inflating her innocent
Nidhi,
sound.
Nidhi, sorry to cut you, but it's not very clear.
It's
Okay,
cracking.
Your voice is cracking. Maybe you want to lift your phone in the hand.
okay, just give me half a second. Very good now.
Relatively better.
You want me to start it all over again?
Yeah,
Please,
please do that,
please.
because I thought maybe I felt it, but I'm getting the feedback from our audience also. No, the essence will not come out if it is not very clear.
Okay, I don't know. I'm trying on my best. I hope it's,
It's
you can get
slightly better, but the voice is not very clear.
it. So do you want me to join one?
Try do that, please. Try and do that. Yeah. Till that time, I think we can hear Vanessa. One second, Vanessa. You need to unmute yourself, Vanessa.
So I start reading my poem.
Yes, please.
Okay. So my next poem is called "You Help Me High." A thousand dreams you gave to me. You help me high. You help me high. Always encouraging me to read, to write, so that I can find my way. I miss your love as time goes by. I wonder who you are loving, who has your heart. You help me high, you help me high, so that I knew who I could be, so that I can find my way. You gave me the best advice. Your warmth kept me safe. I found my way because of you, so let me dream about you, as that is the only love that I have for you. Each night and day, and every moment in time, I think of you. We are apart, but you're always in my heart, even if I'm in yours. You help me find my way. Your life will always be mine. You help me high, you help me high. So take good care of yourself. When my ashes are thrown into the sea, I hope yours will be thrown too, so that we can be together again. As for now, your life is the only one I can love. So then, take care. Okay, all right. It sounds a bit mushy, but actually, this poem was actually dedicated to my ex. It's about love.
Love.
Sometimes you miss your ex boyfriend or girlfriend so much, you just feel like writing something. It's just a way to make you feel peace in your life. So okay, so basically, when I read this poem to other people, I always tell them, if you are feeling very troubled in life, write a poem that can ease your heart, that can bring you inner peace into your life. Because when we have inner peace, we create a positive mind. And when we create a positive mind, we create a positive aura around us. And that is where we draw people to us. Because it's very important to give up positive vibes. So yeah, so I do encourage people to write poems that can make them feel easy in life and find inner peace.
Absolutely, you're right. And as the way Ushaji was saying, sometimes you fall short on words to say, but when you sit down to write, you actually pour your heart out without being judged. And because you yourself know when you wrote it, you know, the emotions, the feeling that you're going through. And sometimes you write the poem in a third person, sometimes you write it as I, but it may
First
not
person.
necessarily be that it was you who went through that pain. It's just that you
Yeah,
felt that pain and you wrote it. So let everybody imagine whether it is your pain, your mushiness, or somebody else's,
correct.
as long as you can convey the emotion.
Yeah.
I remember writing one on World Rose Day, and a friend of mine asked me that, did this happen with you? So I said, no, it didn't happen with me, but it happened with a friend. So so you at times feel the very strong emotion that someone goes through. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for sharing that mushy one and bringing in that romance in the air. Yes, Nidhi, I hope we can hear you clearly now. No sound.
No sound, Nidhi. No,
Nidhi
no.
can't hear you. Audio not connected.
Not
No, dear. Above, I can hear you, but it's not very clear. Maybe your speaker is getting blocked with something. That is why that squeaky voice is coming.
Any better now? better now?
Yes. Yes.
You're good to go?
Oh, little bit better.
I'll be a little louder. I'll be a little louder, I
Yeah,
guess.
Now
sure.
it's
That was
okay.
the
Now it's
sound.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what happened was, I just mentioned it in second, right, in third person. Exactly. I had written this a very romantic poem, right? And then someone asked me, who has written this? And I said, for you. I said, I have written for myself. Because nobody else is going to write for me. So I'm treating myself to this poem today. So it's important to write for yourself.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So getting back to my case,
Mm.
before any other technical thing, let me rush to it. She twitched the pallu of her skirt, restless, you could say. It was her first day. Her friend teased her. She said she looked perfect. A 3.5 week wait. Hmm, seemed like eternity. She clutched on to her nervousness, freaking out with each passing second. A slight slap on the shoulder. She shuddered. She fingered. She smiled. Half a smile. Already adjusted, already in her place. Her bangles refused to stay place. Jesus happiness. Coffee.
Voice
Midnight.
not clear. My dear, the audience is wanting to hear you. Can you try headphones or earphones?
And no earphones. Anything is always clear, but I was not certain right now. This coffee part does not help. Too much coffee, I guess.
Looks like the tap on the shoulder is strong and it's disturbing the voice. Or the pallu is covering it.
I hope I'm audible now. I hope I'm audible now.
When you're not reciting, you're very clear. When you're reciting, it is squeaky.
Head nodded in silent affirmation. Anxiety playing truant. Glamour excitement came fleeting her innocent countenance. Comfort. She hung on to each word he said, interrupting occasionally with wings and arms. On one pretext, she burst into more than a smile. You have eyes like a dove, soft and loving. She shied at it. It was divine. Never had she felt so important, so loved, so warm. She basked in the adulation he showered, bathed in love undefined. He held her hand, ever so lightly. She curled her fingers, soft but firm. Assured he led her to lane by lane. She followed meekly, while nurturing in her barren, incomplete life. They entered a tiny, cozy room with smells of previous night's escapade. She gently made it. She drank. Enveloped in thoughts of sweet love-making, he unwrapped her preciously, entwining body and soul. She reveled. She succumbed, finally falling into deep slumber. The warm rays fell on her face. She woke up with sweet love belonging. The night that was, the today it is, the future that will be. Made an attempt to gather the remnants of her life. She fell to bed, cool, cold flowers, the stuffy bed, the empty bed. She gulped, perplexed, motionless, devoid of reasoning. The door squeaked. She wanted to smile, a smile of recognition. Came a rude awakening, a sweet detached voice of a woman. Shook her from her reverie. Come on, empty the room. Time over. Love is blind, and so is she. She was actually blind, and I don't know whether I could convey it in the proper way. Each time that we spoke about her, we never said she looked. It was always she felt, she touched, she sensed it, but it was never she saw. And that's where, at the end, we just opened the thing that she was actually blind. As well as blind, she was blind too.
Beautiful. So I was thinking, what do I say? But I would like you to record this poem and share it, because there were parts of it that were going, where the voice wasn't very clear. So that perhaps the essence is not really coming out. So it would be lovely to either share it in writing. In fact, I would request all of you to share all your poems that you recited today in writing also, so that people can read them through. Of course, we've heard you. Absolutely wonderful. We are pretty much at the end of our session today. What flow of emotions, and lovely to hear the three of you. And thank you
So,
so much. Yes, Vanessa.
Akta, so you want us to send the written form of our poems?
Yes, written or audio, recorded, whatever you are comfortable. If you could share it on our Facebook group, that would be
Okay,
lovely
can,
for
no problem.
everyone to read. Yeah, and so that it's a repository that also gets created for anyone to read when they want to feel good as a mother or as a woman, or they want to understand that how important it is to make a choice, to have that ocean of choice. So these are the and to have a beautiful garden, to not fall blindly in love, to understand what is it that you need to see and appreciate. So I think these are my takeaways today from your beautiful poems, to understand that how important it is to experience pain, to internalize grief, to not get a victim towards being joyous always, because that's not the reality of life. Grief, pain does happen to everyone, it is inevitable. So lot of learnings from the three of you through your poetries. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your lovely creations on our very first English open mic session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Pleasure was entirely ours.
yes, exactly. The privilege to hear sharing all of that getting to know from you too. That's indeed very pleasurable. Thank you so much. Neha.
Thank you so much, everyone who's watching us or who would watch this amazing poetry recitation by these amazing women. And when we are talking about women, we cannot ignore the health of a woman. Tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., do not forget to tune in at Motherhood Club, either on Facebook or YouTube, to hear Dr. Indu Bansal, radiation oncologist, talking about breast cancer awareness. One in every four women is a victim of breast cancer. Knowingly, unknowingly, we ignore a lot of things. So, tomorrow we will understand the basics, the nuances of it. So, make sure you give this session to yourself. And the whole of October, over 3 sessions, we will be talking about breast awareness, how it can be prevented, the treatment, and everything about it. So do tune in at 7. That is one. And second, starting 6th October till 14th October, stay tuned for all the announcements that we make. We are going to make your Navratri festival rock. So if you want to have fun, if you wish to make it even grand, stay tuned with us and we will share the nitty gritties of it. So, once again, thank you everyone for being here at the first English Poetry Open Mic. And we will continue with our open mic every fortnight, be it in Hindi or English. If you wish to participate, feel free to get in touch with Leela Dwivedi, Pooja Dikshit, Rika Goel Divan, or myself, and we'll be very happy to host you. Keep contributing to Culture Kona. The weekly topic for this week is sugar, yani ki chini. So let your thoughts flow around this one word, sugar. We'd love to read your creation, and stay safe till we all are over this pandemic. And do not forget to wear your mask. And let's meet again tomorrow at 7 p.m. with Dr. Indu Bansal. So thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.